Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel and to the season finale of the Sim Racing for Simpletons Formula 3 Championship. We take to the Motorland Aragon for round number 8 of season number 2. Of course, the final race that these guys will be taking to in Formula 3 machinery. As you can see, we are already underway onto lap 3 of a 25-lap race. Unfortunately, some technical difficulties saw us delay the broadcast ever so slightly, but we're here ready to give you the action. As usual, it's myself, Zach Sweeney, with Dean Biggles alongside me in the commentary booth. Dean, unfortunate start to the broadcast, but hopefully some great action to round off a fantastic season.
Yes, it looks like it. You can see it's underway cracking. Mr. Keane just sets the fastest lap at the moment in P2. We're looking at Robert Ridgway for the Atomic Racing Team. Tucked up on the back there of Zyke, so we'll see if we can look to get that all seized up for an opportunity. Welcome everybody in chat as well.
Yeah, of course, we've got the resident Whitfields, we've got Shayla, and I'm sure Shayla and co. In terms of the Whitfield family. Of course, you can see Dan Whitfield up in 3rd place. In terms of a championship perspective, let's just shed a little bit of light on it. David Holland, he's not here today, as you can see. He's absent, which is another 0 next to his scorecard. He's already taken the maximum amount of drop weeks that you can, which means today there's going to be a big fat 0 next to his score. He's on 141 points. Now, interestingly, Mackenzie Roon is only 11 points back, which effectively, unfortunately, does sort of hand Roon the championship in terms of the proceedings today. Is Zyke under a little bit of pressure from Robert Ridgway, who has now been given a very good advancement to potentially also could win the championship if things go bad for Roon and he outscores Holland, so basically scores more than 16 points. But in terms of the top 2 in the championship, Mackenzie Roon effectively just needs to finish this race and he will become the Season 2 champion, joining the likes of Carson Keane as a champion of this fantastic series. And then, of course, in a couple of weeks' time, we'll head over to the Super Formula machine. Ooh. Under pressure, though, as Alexander Rivera threads the needle through the 2 of them, makes up 1 place, goes in a little bit too deep into the hairpin, and Robert Ridgway with the best up and under you could possibly ask for going into the final couple of corners, finds his way up into 4th, with Alex Rivera unfortunately falling back to where he started in 6th place, but still on the back and side by side with Anthony Zyke going into turn number 1. We start lap number 5. What can Alex Rivera do? One of the only drivers other than Holland or Ridgway to win a race this season, promotes his way up into 5th.
That's amazing, isn't it? We'll have to go back. We will go back and I can't have a look at the replay because it even caught me off guard because we were riding on board. I thought there's no way that you're going to get 3 into 1 on that corner. And somehow they made it work without hitting each other. We'll have a look at that. We will have a look at the replay of that in a second. But everybody's starting to bunch up here. You can see Peter just in the background there, as well as Andy Yaga. So there you go. Keane still just keeping back there from Roon. Mackenzie Roon, as you know, is well on the way to be a champion, so it's not really a problem, but just has to bring it home safely. But of course, you want to do it in style over time, don't you? You want to be across that line as number 1 for the top step and to also hold up that Drivers' Championship trophy.
Indeed so. And of course, the prize that comes with it, of course, in terms of prizes and things, we'll confirm to that when we can. Obviously, we've got top 3 get trophies in the championship, so potential for those, and well, a lot to look forward to in that regard. Obviously, looking forward to the Super Formula Championship next season as well. We've got a very interesting calendar ahead for us there. Side by side for 4th place there between Alex Rivera and Robert Ridgway. You can see Rivera on the inside and Ridgway unable to hold off the 222, who finds his way up now into 4th. A little bit further down, we've got Andy Yeager under a little bit of pressure from Petter Vedding in 7th place. And we're going to take another look as to something that's happened. This obviously was the overtake that saw Yeager through on the inside, late on the brakes, easily done.
Yep, I just wanted to show that because that was a replay happening in the background at the same time that we were just looking at before with Robert Ridgway. And I want to go back to this other one here before. This is that 3 into 1. Keep an eye in the middle, of course. That was Rivera. He was the one that did that, Mark. Just trying to go a little bit slower here. It's not showing up that one. Anyway, back to the live racing action, and Keane now has slowly chipped away there. Rune's been chipping away at Rune for some laps now. Just, and I'm talking about chipping away, matching on like tenths of seconds. Literally, there's difference between these two drivers, and eventually now, once the car start catching into that back slipstream, you can see how much more of a pull the car gets there, and how much of a drive. So let's have a look from Carson Keane's perspective there, Zach.
Yeah, let's ride on board with him here at Motorland Aragon, of course. One of the newer additions actually to the iRacing service. Obviously, we've ticked over into another season of 2023, but it was added, I think, just at the back end, well, no, right at the start of last season. So about 3 months now it's been a part of the service. Carson Keane looking to the left-hand side into the heaviest braking zone on the circuit, putting a little bit of pressure onto the soon-to-be champion, potentially, of Mackenzie Rune, but they work their way through, up through the right, then into the left to round off a beautiful circuit. Of course, if we can, we'll ride on board with Carson Keane to give you a tour of this beautiful circuit. Mackenzie Rune under a ton of pressure, so we've picked him at the right point into turn number 1, and the Canadian tries to go the long way round, tries to go for the switch back on the exit of 1 into 2. They rise up the hill, very undulating is this Spanish circuit. You then into a right-hand flick that is quite high speed, 5th gear corner, as you can see, even in the dirty air of Carson Keane. And now into the left, a little bit wide, as you can see, Rune trying to cover it off as best he can, hitting a nice apex though, making his Formula 3 car as wide as can be. Carson Keane though just trying to search for an avenue through. You're on your way now into this right that then very quickly leads into a long-ish back straight run that then leads into a downhill right-left chicane. Very tough to get right, especially in single seaters, similar to the chicane at the Laguna Seca, where things can very quickly go wrong. Again, on that dip down as it trumps at the bottom, the car can become very quickly unstable. Through a long left though, and this proceeds into another quick flick to the left, looking just to spot your braking point quite nicely. Hit a little apex up the hill through the long right-hander that once again leads you into a chicane. But after that, this is where opportunities can arise. If you can carry the speed through 1 and keep that momentum up, Mackenzie Rune has nailed it, and this could be the protection he needs in order to keep Carson Keane at bay. It all depends on how strong the slipstream is and how brave the Canadian is as they slam onto the anchors into the hairpin. What can Carson Keane do? Not quite close enough for a move for the lead just yet. Rune had it all covered going through that all-important chicane.
Exactly. Look at the snap of an oversteer as they both. That's tight, as you can see. Carson Keane is fighting with the car. This doesn't not look like a very easy track. You can see how bumpy it is. And you get to certain corners, now you get a bit of a breathe, a little straightaway. Come out now, come out and use as much of do that right outside the racing line. Essentially, you can get away with that in iRacing some tracks. Of course, if that was Formula 1, that would be a penalty immediately, because you can't have all 4 tyres outside the white lines. Look at the different racing line coming through here at the moment, how at the last minute Rune comes back onto the racing line to cover it off, but scrubs a bit of speed here for a very fast Keane as well.
Yeah, still on board with Carson Keane, who is still, obviously, we'll say it again, keen for the win. Champion of last season, coming into season 2, of course. Not quite had the run of form that he'd have hoped for with things. Actually, hang on. Was he even... No. Was it Mackenzie Rune that was champion? Hang on a minute. Give me a minute. I'm just going to confirm that very quickly. Final standings. It was Mackenzie Rune that was the championship winner. I'm so sorry. Had it in my head that Carson Keane was the champion. He wasn't. He was second place. He was the runner-up in the championship. So Mackenzie Rune is looking to go back-to-back in terms of championship wins. My bad, ladies and gents. It's been a long day, as you can imagine. All good. Anyway, Carson Keane. Second place in this race, second place in Season 1's Championship. Mackenzie Rune looking to go for back-to-back. As you can see, riding on board, looking backwards at the Canadian, trying to put a little bit of pressure as much as he can. But yeah, Mackenzie Rune looking very strong. And the fact that he hasn't even won a single race this season, apart from potentially the final one, says a lot about his consistency. Yeah,
consistency is key, isn't it? Championship, you don't need to, we've said that before at the start of the season, you don't need to win every race. You need to turn up to every race for one. And then second, be consistent, get some points, get on the podiums. And at the moment, it's one of the toughest times to defend. We also have a battle further back there with Mr. Long, Brian, the boss man. But we will go back to that in a second, because this could be the first time that we've seen in this race that he's going to lose the lead. But it ain't over yet. He's going to be fighting tooth and nail for it, though, Zach.
He is indeed. Mackenzie Roon on the outside, but Carson Keane chucks the move to the inside. It's now going to be the long way round into the next left-hander. You can see Roon trying his best in order to defend the lead, but his aim is the championship. All he has to do is finish, and it's his. So no point risking it by throwing it all away in a pointless battle. Well, not really pointless, but a battle that could cost you the championship. There are going to be easier opportunities that arise, but he has to be careful not to let Carson Keane get too far ahead. But a lock up there, Mackenzie Roon, you can tell he's under a little bit of pressure today.
Yeah, I wonder if the tyres are starting to... Maybe tyres would start to be going off at the moment. Maybe it's just that's still a little bit different, isn't it? After being overtaken, and now Mackenzie Roon is... probably, what would you say sometimes? Like, you're not used to driving because you've been leading this whole time, and now he's behind the car and maybe in that dirty area a little bit as well. On top of it, could be looking at using that driver as your guide, essentially. What would you say? Your racing line is the word I was looking for. That's actually going to slowly bring Dan. You can see Dan in the background for Whitfield family out there, so you'll be happy to see. Yeah, number 460. The driver's favorite, number 64 is what I was looking for. Joel has had a crash, and that's allowed Brian to get through there. There's Brian. That's the only bit that I got, unfortunately, at the end. It's just saying there's a crash. So he's gone off track there, and he's gone off track again. And he's actually jumped back into the pits and retired. And look at that. He's even... Oh, I thought there was no wall there. He's going to park it to the marshals. But he has retired from the session there. Zach?
Yeah, unfortunate way to end the season, of course, for the old Darton. But down Whitfield here, of course, in the 64 Dallara Formula 3 machine, looking to go for, well, yeah, probably another podium this season. He's definitely been on the podium at least once. Down Whitfield, he's been flying this season. Not quite been able to extract his full potential, and I say that lovingly because he's a very quick driver on his day. He just needs to hook up said day. Right now, of course, did start on pole position, is down to third, but on a recovery drive potentially towards the front. But it's a long road ahead. He's going to need consistency and a little bit more pace if he wants to match the two ahead of him. He's not a million miles away, only 2.5 seconds, so still very much still in contention is down Whitfield. Let's see what he can do as the race progresses. Nearly halfway through already. Lap 10 of 25. We'll be looking for lap 13 to be half the way through. Down Whitfield, what can his progress look like? Of course, we have got the mandatory pit stop to contend with, but oh no, he's carried way too much speed in, backwards into the runoff area and down to fourth.
Be careful coming back on track, Kaz. I feel commentator's coincidence.
Yep, nothing more. Nothing more. Just the coincidence. Put your tinfoil hats away. Again,
it just seems so strange that we happen to be on there doing such a great job all by himself, and
would have happened at any point.
There it is.
Would have happened at any point. Would have happened anyway. It's just the theory of correlation or something like that. When you focus on something and something happens, you pay more attention to it as if it's something magical. But
well, I had about 30 of these the other day there, Zach. Every single one I caught live. Didn't even have to use a replay system. So how's that for coincidence?
It's just a big coincidence. Again, we don't have any magic powers. Otherwise, we'd, I don't know, snap David Holland into existence to have a bit of a championship fight for tonight.
But I'm doing it, not you.
That is true. That is true. But I guess. But anyway, as I've said, with the commentator's curse, there's no such thing. Unfortunately, and I hate to say it because I do like down Whitfield, it's bad luck or bad driving or a mixture of the both. I do not take responsibility for skill issues. That's in the contract I signed when I became a commentator, and I signed the contract to myself because I'm self-employed. But anyway, that was the responsibility I undertook. I do not take responsibility for skill issues out on track. Unfortunately for Dan Whitfield, it's an issue that has seen him down off the podium and once again on a fight back to the front. Hopefully, the Super Formula Championship will be a little bit more successful for him. And Shayla coming to his rescue in the YouTube chat saying they've been away all week, so Dan's only had 1 week of practice, which is fair enough. Practice is key.
That's amazing considering he put it on pole as well too, and I apologise that we did miss that because it would have been great. Great pole lap, as you can see, those positions. So you want to about Carson Keane? Obviously, didn't put a very good qualifying position place in, but it doesn't really matter, does it? He's leading the race. Mackenzie Roon did start in P2. Looks like something's happened to Mr. Brian Long as well, too, to be down 7 positions that we didn't manage to capture. So, be an early lap 1 incident. Probably have to put that one down too.
Yeah, you'd imagine. Well, no, Brian Long said he was starting from the pit lane.
There you go.
For this race. So
Zach's on
he
top
did
of
qualify.
it.
I know how to do my job sometimes. Yeah, he said he was starting from the pit lane for safety issues because he's not too familiar of Aragon, which is fair enough. Again, it's a new circuit, one that not many people have raced at extensively. So yeah, Brian Long opting to start from the pit lane, and unfortunately hasn't really done much since.
Oh, look at the steering wheel.
Close up a little bit. Yeah, down Whitfield. Really fighting with the car. Of course, Formula 3's got no power steering, no assists, anything like that. So they are very raw, passionate cars. But yeah, Dan Whitfield maybe needs to turn his force speed back down a couple notches just to rein it in it ever so slightly. But just proving how difficult these cars are to drive. So many minute corrections at the steering wheel for Dan Whitfield, just trying to get the car through. A lot of bumps, a lot of ups and downs here at Aragon as well to play into the mix. But yeah, Dan Whitfield really on a knife's edge.
It's actually a great angle to really see what the driver's going through. No doubt he could show you in the cockpit even more how much the driver's going through, and that just gives you even more difficult degree of difficulty. Because when you get a chance, you're going to be looking at your steering wheel every once in a while and imagine that it's kind of some muscle memory there, Zach, as you'll be listening to those revs in your ears and knowing exactly kind of what gear you should be in. Well, then it's just focusing on the track at this point.
Yeah, definitely. As he definitely needs to map a button to his visor tariff. I know if that was me, that would be gone. That is too much dust for me to not be able to see. And I would get rid of that visor tear off as soon as possible, but Dan Whitfield might be a little bit more tolerable than I am, and probably a lot quicker on the track for good measure as well. Let's take a look back though. Brian Long unfortunately having an incident going into the downhill right-left. Is it what I did? Can happen. A lock up late into the corner, then just slams on the brakes as to not spin anymore. Fair play. What he's done there is press the accelerator and the brake at the same time to just lock the car in place. So it's not, rolling forward, it's not rolling backwards. It is just skating sideways. Managed to keep it relatively clean, but those tyres are going to be a little bit shot. Yeah, lighting up the rears on the exit, managing to catch it quite nicely, and then goes again, unfortunately, as saw him lose quite a little bit of time to Guy Kiao, but still a long way to go in this race for him to make up for it.
How did you know that he pushed his accelerator and brake? I couldn't see his feet.
It's just what you do. When you spin, if you press, I don't know how it works, but if you press the accelerator and the brake at the same time, the car basically just locks. It completely just locks. Obviously, it's still got momentum and things, so it's still moving, it's still skating, but it doesn't allow the car to loop around anymore. So the rear end stays as it is. So you basically just roll forwards and carry on going the way you are. So if you want to, if you're going sideways and you don't want to go all the way around, you press both at the same time. And in theory, 9 times out of 10, it should stop the car from doing that and then just bring you to a stop so you can sort of carry on going. Obviously, it's not a miracle worker. It's not going to, if you're going 200 miles an hour and you go sideways, probably won't help you too much then, but definitely can be a tool, especially at those speeds, to sort of assist you. I could be saying that, and Brian Long could be saying, nah, mate, I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, Dan Whitfield trying to get his way back through on Robert Ridgway, who is going to be going ever so slightly defensive in the middle of the track. Which way is Dan Whitfield going to go? Tries to sell him the dummy late to the right-hand side, of course. The outside as they head their way onto the brakes into the hairpin. Whitfield has got a long way to go if he wants to make that work. Unfortunately, it's too long. The 64 machine has to sit at bay for now. Onto lap 14 of 25.
Yeah, sending a little bit of a late dunge there is going to compromise your exit speed, but still got time to get it done. We're 12 remaining in this race, 14 of 25, as you can see up your left-hand side. Look at that entrance. Good entrance, compromise the exit. Going to force Robert Ridgway to mirror drive a lot more, you would imagine. Fantastic racing. I'm sure he'll be enjoying this. And not so happy, of course, about making that little bit of a mistake before, but at least you're getting some great entertaining and overtaking opportunities perhaps up the road there. Kenzie Roons managed to catch back up to the Carson Kings, so that other battle will be brewing soon, you would imagine, along with this one.
You would think so. And so hopefully both can sort of materialise soon. So we've got plenty to indulge into over the course of the next little while. And, well, with just, 12 laps left, 11 and a half laps left to go of this season. Well, what can happen? What is there to expect? What twists and turns along the way are there going to be? But also looking forward, I mean, we've touched on the fact we're going to the Super Formula next season. That will really be a bit of a learning curve for these drivers.
Yeah, I'm not absolutely familiar with that class. I haven't not commentated a league with the Super Formulas. Have you before? I know you do a lot more than that.
No.
Interesting.
Super Formula cars have only just come into the iRacing service for this season. So, yeah, they're going to be a learning curve for everyone. As Whitfield...
Again, that corner, isn't it? Compromises a little bit.
It's just he's going too hot in, locking the fronts, and then obviously going too hot in even more. But yeah, those Super Formula should be a lot of fun. Again, single-seaters, so still fairly similar, but I think a little bit quicker than the Dallara Formula 3. I think a little bit in between F3 and F2 in sort of pace-wise. Maybe closer to the end of Formula 2 in terms of raw speed. But yeah, a lot of fun to drive, I'm sure. And again, slightly different. Again, single-seater dynamic in terms of driving style and things, but ever so slight tweaks and things along the way that really should throw a spanner into the works and maybe cause a bit of an upset in terms of the running orders of things. Could we see a surprise going into next season? Of course, we'll find out when proceedings get underway. If you do want to get yourself involved, definitely do head over to the Sim Racing for Simpletons Discord, see what it's about. Make sure you get yourself signed up and things. Only a $25 entry fee, which goes towards obviously the broadcast, the prizes, stewards, session costs, etc. But when we kick things off on October 21st at the Twin Ring Motegi, we head to Snetterton, Zandvoort, Belle Isle, Silverstone, Road America, the Red Bull Ring, and into Lagos to take us all the way to the 9th of December. Plenty of action and amazing venues to describe that action as well. Should be a lot of fun. A much better run, though, from Mackenzie Roon relative to Carson Keane going on this back straight towards the heavy braking zone. He pulls out to the left-hand side, and will it be the lead back for the soon-to-be champion? We'll find out soon enough. They'll slam onto the brakes on that slight uphill incline, but it does mean you can go a little bit later than you think as you're assisted by gravity in the slowing down process. The number 5 trying to go the long way round. Mackenzie Roon's got it covered as Carson Keane a little bit sideways on the exit. Roon into the lead.
Yep, there it is, just like that. That's a great overtake. Difficult to do. And this track, it looks like there's only a couple of locations you really get it done properly on the long straightaways and the heavy braking zones. But I got a feeling this is going to continue for another chapter in this story, in this race. And of course, it'll be the final chapter this season. These two drivers to go out at 2 finals, get that top step. We're starting to see those pit stops, as mandatory pit stops starting to kick in. These drivers also have to think about that. And I wonder, if you saw Dan before they're going in, so he probably has elected to say, all right, it's probably easier if I get out there by myself and put some hot laps in without having anybody around me, so I can just concentrate on my own race. See how that pans out for strategy later on. And also too, as you said about the entry fee, it also comes into Mr. Zachary's going to be there and giving you tea and crumpets as well to assist you when you're racing, right?
As long as that entry fee goes towards paying me to do that, we'll be fine. Yes, tea and crumpets. That is
very British thing.
A very British thing. And hang on, I did just read the calendar out. I'm going to look at it once again. So we go to 2 British tracks over the course of season 2. We go to Snetterton, and then of course we go to Silverstone. So we come to good old Norfolk, and then to Northampton. I think Silverstone is in. Yeah, good couple of British tracks to indulge in over the course of the season. Take up a quarter of it. So nice to know that the British tracks are taking quite a heavy providence in the running order of things. But the most important thing I think is that we start at a Japanese circuit. Of course, the Twin Ring Motegi. I think there was a choice. They had a Japanese circuit to kickstart the season, and the choice was Suzuka, Fuji, or the Twin Ring Motegi. And obviously, more people chose for Motegi than to go for Fuji, which I don't know if I 100% agree with. I do like Fuji, but I do also like the Twin Ring Motegi. So obviously it's down to the drivers. We did have a vote, but mine obviously wasn't enough to tip the scales. But either way, I think it will be a very, interesting season. Hopefully, of course, we retain the attendance all throughout the season and that we don't have another David Holland to run away with things out in front for the majority of it. Not to take anything away from David Holland, just the fact that he is that good. For every race that he's been here, he's won. He's been here for 5 rounds this season. He's won every single one of them. And he is just that guy that is so quick. So we'll see what he holds going forward in the sim racing for Simpletons, what will be then the Super Formula Championship. So yeah, a lot of fun. Of course, lap 17 of 25, of course, and into the pit lane comes Petter Vedding, still waiting for the top 2 though, and will be interesting to see if they split on strategy or go the same.
Yeah, it will be actually interesting and split on the strategy situations you mentioned. I'm going to show those stops up on the screen there. Here's who's taken them, who hasn't. Oh, a little bit of a twitch there from Carson. Yes. Oh, I got confused there for a second. I wanted to ask you a question. Yeah, Zachary. Also out there for Shayla and the Whitfield family, do you know if Dan has been practicing on the new Super Formulas at all? Getting ready for the next season? I'm just curious to know about that. She would know. Likely. Girlfriend should know.
Would.
Girlfriends know all.
You would expect.
Oh, fiance? Did you say?
Oh,
we're gonna get.
I've just gone. I've always gone with significant other just to be safe.
Yes.
Because then you can't go wrong, no matter what. So yeah, Shayla Whitfield. I think that's a wedding dress in her YouTube profile picture. So maybe she is wife. Maybe Dan Whitfield has put a ring on it, which is fair enough. If you have a girlfriend, fiance that supports your sim racing and your little man cave and your pretend race cars, absolutely straight up wife up. And I'm sure Shayla Whitfield obviously was not complaining. And would you rather your husband play pretend race cars or be out talking to other girls? I know definitely which one I would prefer. So there you go. Pretend race cars,
or
save
real
relationships.
Race cars as well. I mean,
but then as the girlfriend, you've not. There's.
Well, she'd be worried too, wouldn't she, about the safety?
That is true. There is a fear factor.
Yeah.
You can't then afford all the Chinese that you want if you do real race cars, because all your money goes to your helmets and your tyres and your cars and your entry fees. Shayla has come in and said he's done a bit. He's excited for it anyway. Good, because we are too. We're excited to see him on the grid. We're excited to see you guys back in the YouTube chat as well. It's always interesting conversations that we come up with in the YouTube chat here for the Sim Racing for Simpletons. But yeah, I'm sure she's quite content with him and his pretend race cars. Maybe she does a little bit as well. Maybe we could have Shayla Whitfield on the grid potentially. Have a little side-by-side grid.
And the mum?
Sim. Get the whole Whitfield family tree on the field. Just have a little army of Whitfields. Let's do it.
Oh, there we go. I've actually seen that before to Dan in a, as we're going to look at another possible overtaking opportunity here from Carson Keane. Almost. Yeah, I've actually seen it before in a special edition kind of a league racing where they got the significant others and family members to race for one of the events that they had. Even the sons jumped into the cockpit. The grandparents jumped into one of their rigs and stuff like that in the past. I think even the family pet got into one of them too.
The family pet? Awesome.
Yeah. There's some very clever dogs out there, my friend. They can drive.
That is true. And as the interviewer once asked, if you do take a trained monkey and put it into the cockpit of a car, probably could be able to start it and maybe even drive it. Dan Whitfield on the back of Anthony Zajic after taking his first and only stop. This time on the outside, but going deep has actually worked in his favour. He is alongside. Is he going to get given the space? Close to contact between the two of them. Anthony Zajic is able to stay ahead for now, but on this pitch straight, Dan Whitfield is going to have the benefit of the slipstream over the crest as it plateaus towards turn number 1 here at the Motorland Aragon. Dan Whitfield quite close enough. Shayla Whitfield. Oh, bit of a mistake though in front from Zajic. Sees Dan Whitfield really easily close the gap. The supreme up and under potentially if he has a bit of a look into turn 3. Not on this occasion, but Shayla Whitfield has come to the YouTube chat to say she couldn't cope with real life racing. Fair enough. And then said absolutely not. She'd crash the whole grid into each other. Again, probably fair enough. But maybe Dan can teach her. Good old Dan the man could give you a lesson. It would be some nice couple bonding time. I'm sure that's how you're going to spend your next anniversary, is on the sim racing it's in sim racing. It is on the rig. So Yeah, go out for a nice meal, come home and do some sim racing like proper couples do. Anyway,
Oh, that's got
Anthony
it. Now he
Sykes
should
is
have.
wide,
Yep.
and then Dan Whitfield is through. Easy peasy.
Oh, I wouldn't say it's easy. He had to work for that one before. You know, he's racing on the absolute limit. I just make it sound like it does it. Yeah, Dan's like, yeah, easy, not a problem. It's like taking candy from a baby, and no, absolutely no insults to Anthony calling him a baby, because these are not easy cars to drive, as you'd mentioned before. None of that power ABS traction control and all the fancy gizmos. It's a straight man versus machine, or man and woman versus machine. There's Mod's not racing this evening.
Not this evening, unfortunately. Would have been nice to have her presence in the final round of the season, but she's here with us in spirit. She's cheering us on, I'm sure, from whatever she's up to this fine Saturday evening on the 23rd of September. We've got also Mary into the YouTube chat, Daniel's auntie, of course, that we've all become so familiar with over the course of the last season and a half that they've joined us. I remember back to Zandvoort of last season was really the first time we got acquainted with the Whitfield family tree. And we were talking about American newspapers and things like that. It was a very interesting bit of fun, and well, we've had our conversations on YouTube chat ever since, which has been great. Lovely to see, and again, I look forward to seeing you guys over the course of next season as well. Just can't quite get rid of you, unfortunately. Well, very fortunately, I should say. Anyway, we are on to the final fifth of this race. We've now got a 3-car fight for the lead, with all of them yet to take pit stops. Mackenzie Roon putting a little bit of pressure on Carson Keane for the lead of the race. Is he's late? Is it too late? Yes, it is. A huge lockup, and Alex Rivera now into the mix.
Yeah, one little mistake at this level of competition when they are bunched up is you know, as you see clearly, we could lose a couple of places. They yet to make a pit stop. In fact, there it is. So Carson goes in, Mackenzie goes in. I do apologise about those cameras. They always cause a bit tricky there going into pit road, but put it that way, they are in for a pit road, well, what do you call it? Pit road battle, essentially. This is about the best camera angle I do have for this track for the pit road. So once again, as you said, a relatively new track. Don't have all the best cameras yet. That's sorted out for sure. And Andy, so there's your race in and out of the pit stops there, Zach.
Yeah, Carson Keane leads the way of them, just ahead of Mackenzie Roon, of course. So those two not going to be leaving each other alone for too much longer. But Alex Rivera now has been released into the lead of the race. Got some clear air. So what will the gap be when he finally comes down pit lane? And will he be able to seal the deal with an overcut?
Yeah, Brian's still yet to go in. Can't miss that livery. Of course, the boss man. Sim racing for Simpletons, and he's got that splashed all over the car. Very proud of the league he's created, and we're very proud as well to the league he's created. So that means Daniel will inherit that position from Brian. And depending on the other two, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? Where Alex Rivera and Robert Ridgway, who have still yet to make a pit stop, come back out. Will that allow the opportunity for Daniel to retake perhaps those couple of positions and still look for a podium here? Because in the net lead of this race is these two, Carson Keane and Mackenzie Roon. So they get themselves back up top when the other two make a pit stop. But as for the rest of that, that's the big questions that are looming in the background there for the Whitfield family as well, no doubt there, Zach.
They're going to be hoping that Whitfield can make a magical ascension to the top. Into the pit lane, the 222, Alex Rivera. What's the gap going to be? Is there going to be a gap? Could he come out ahead of Carson Keane and Mackenzie Roon after this pit lane sequence? He's trundling his way down a very long pit lane. There are Robert Ridgway as well. He's coming in. Where is Carson Keane and Mackenzie Roon? There. I think it's going to be quite an easy affair for them. He's in. Alex Rivera is out. There he is. Where's the pit limit line? It's going to be close, actually. He might just be able to settle in behind us. Not. He's there. He very much is there. He's very much in contention. We've got 4 laps. We've got 22, 23, 24, and 25 left to go. And we've got Alex Rivera, Mackenzie Roon, and Carson Keane to seal the deal for the final race of this championship.
And unfortunately, Dan didn't get anything at the moment because Robert's come back in and out. He's got Brian on his tailpipe, but Brian's the last one to make a pit stop. So we'll just keep an eye on this three-way battle now. Because I think Mr. Ridgway probably let Brian through it if any push comes to shove, knowing there's to get that place back. Look at this. This is going to be fantastic. Any of these drivers make a mistake right now, you're going to win this race. Where's your commentator's coincidence now there, Zach?
Carson Keane going to make a mistake into the next corner. We're going to watch it right now. Alex Rivera going to make a mistake into the next corner. We're going to watch it now. Mackenzie Roon is also going to make a mistake into the next corner. We're going to watch it now. Oh wait, no, they didn't do that because it's not me that controls that. It's them in the cockpit of the car, at the wheel, pushing the pedals, turning the steering wheel, and hopefully for them being able to come out on top. All three of these drivers are going to be telling themselves they're going to win this race. Unfortunately, only one driver can take to the top spot. As it stands, I'd say Carson Keane probably is the favourite. He's been the one most firmly in control for the longest time throughout this race, so I'd say it's his to lose.
Oh, you see the loud pedal, and it just slips the rear of the car out. I mean, we could just feel it sitting inside the cockpit. You just know from looking at that the rear of the car is just lighting up there, and he has to lift the loud pedal just a little bit so that you prevent that wheel slipping, and then you can start to get that traction again. Either that, or sometimes you can just upshift a little earlier than what you reckon would be, as Brian goes in for his last pit stop of the season as well. Here's your battle for the top three still, with give or take 3 laps to go now, Zach, for the rest of this racing season too.
Yeah, it's been a journey all the way back when was it that we started? The Circuit Zolder on the 29th of July. We're now on the 23rd of September. A 2-month-long battle for these fantastic drivers in this fantastic championship that we have got the absolute pleasure of bringing the action to you, of course, here on the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel. And now we've got the pleasure of bearing witness to a brilliant battle between Alex Rivera and Mackenzie Roon as well. Of course, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and turn the bell on for notifications on the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel to not miss a single thing that comes your way in terms of sim racing. And also, just stay tuned, because on the 21st of October, we'll head back underway with the Sim Racing for Simpletons Super Formula Championship Season 3, but kind of Season 1. Well, kind of Season 3, but technically is probably Season 1. Probably the better term to use for it. We'll see you then, of course. But for now, we've still got 2 and a bit more laps of racing here in Spain. A little bit wide, though, from Carson Keane, and Alex Rivera, Mackenzie Roon immediately on the scene, ready to capitalise. But for now, the Canadian's got it all under wrap.
He's got a picture there, you can see on the inside rear wing there. That looks like Mr. Nicolas Cage is staring at your opponents. Fear the cage. That's a reference also to one of the other leagues that we do broadcast here at the JP Broadcasting Network. He's just going to hold them off right now, essentially, for just 2 more laps there. And, well, you know for a fact that Mackenzie Roon would want to take this race win, but I don't know if he can do it with P3 now.
So it'll be tough, but it has to start now. It has to start in this moment. He has to really get a move done before the start of the final lap. Carson Keane, small mistakes being made. The pressure is getting to them. We're into the final lap and a half of the season. Keane, Rivera, Roon. Who is going to be the one to take to the top spot? Could be any of them, really. But if Roon wants to win this, he has to make the overtake now. Rivera obviously is going to want to win this. Carson Keane is just trying his best to delay the attack or completely avoid it if he can. That, of course, is the ideal scenario, but easier said than done. They've got a long straight ahead of them and a lot of slipstream between now and the braking zone, and then, of course, 1 more lap. I think it will, in theory, probably come down to this run in a lap's time.
I think yep, you're absolutely right. It's going to be all perfect on the exit of the previous corner for the long straightaway into this tight kink of the track where you get a lot of overtake. That's why they're struggling. Look at that track map. It essentially completely is a 180 come back on yourself, doesn't it there, Zach? Brian's had a spin for a moment, but I don't want to show it. He's down there at the mark, and I don't want to show the boss man having one mistake for the final time this season. We'll save him that one for now, because we'll keep our eyes glued to this battle for the race win for the last time this season and the last lap. Here we go, Jack. Here we go.
Oh, Mackenzie Roon immediately looking to go to the inside of turn 3. Looked for it, couldn't quite find it. Alex Rivera trying to mount a challenge for the lead. You're definitely a lot nicer than I was. Biggles, I definitely would have shown Brian Long having a spin, but it's fine. We'll let him off. And seeing as that he's brought us this amazing championship. Half a lap to go, though. Keen, Rivera, Roon. Oh, who's going to be the one to cross the line first?
And we'll be back after our sponsor commercial break. So do not go anywhere. That'd be a horrible time to throw an ad up, wouldn't it? Don't have that. To have these fantastic gladiators and this fantastic brand new track, essentially, well, brand new to iRacing, no doubt, as you mentioned. Another lock-up. It's the final opportunity. It's the final countdown. I have to say, Keen's got him covered. But as for the rest, Alex or Mackenzie, this is when you got to be absolutely perfect. No mistakes. Bring it home.
Yeah, exactly. Just drive the car to the checkered flag is there. Alex Rivera under pressure. Mackenzie Roon pulls out to the left-hand side. He's trying to finish on his championship campaign as high up as possible, but Rivera is late on the brakes. He soared his way around the outside in defense. A bit of a slide on the exit for Mackenzie Roon, and that you would have to say has sealed the deal. For the final time this season in Motorland Aragon, it's Carson Keen that will become victorious as he takes the victory side by side across the line. Alex Rivera in second, Mackenzie Roon third place, and is champion for a back-to-back season. Season 1, Season 2, Mackenzie Roon takes the top step in the Sim Racing for Simpletons Formula 3 Championship, and he will remain the undefeated champion in Formula 3 machinery, at least for the foreseeable future. What a season it has been for Mackenzie Roon, and I'm sure he's going to be absolutely delighted. David Holland's absence has cost him the championship in the end, but what a battle it was. Robert Ridgway, Dan Whitfield round off the top 5. We'll run you through the entirety of the finishing orders when everyone has crossed the line, and well, there you can see a huge attendance of the crowd with how many cars there are in the car park watching what was a brilliant display of racing here in the Spanish circuit of Motorland Aragon. Brian Long eventually comes across the line to take 10th place from the pit lane, and then for the final time this season we'll throw the results up, we'll run you through them, and we'll take a chat with whatever drivers want to come and give us a go. Carson Keen, Alex Rivera, Mackenzie Roon, the champion in P1, 2 and 3. The final podium of season number 2. Robert Ridgway, Dan Whitfield, 4th and 5th. Anthony Zyke and Andy Yeager in behind. Petter Vedding, Guy Kiao and Brian Long, the top 10, and those that finished with Yol Dutton, unfortunately, DNFing from the final race of the championship. We've already got a couple of drivers to take a talk to, so we'll drag in Mr. Alex Rivera first and foremost. Alex, what a season it's been. Obviously, you've not been able to be with us for the entirety of it, but what a way to round it off, and a fantastic battle between you, Carson, and Mackenzie.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I thought I was basically out of it right at the beginning when I spun, but
oh man,
that was so much fun right at the end. I was trying to get Carson. I think I used up a little bit too much of my tires, and fair play to them. I mean, both Mackenzie and Carson had tons of pace. They were super clean racing. It was so much fun.
best way to round off the season, I'm sure. A new circuit, a difficult circuit, but our time in the Formula 3s has come to the end. Alex, are you going to be joining us in the Super Formula?
I will be, and hopefully I'll be here more regularly in the Super Formula too. Life calms down a little bit. I'm excited. I love the new Super Formula. I think it drives amazing. I'm not very fast in it yet, though.
Keyword there was yet. I'm sure you'll get up to speed. How is it like to drive though? Is it vastly different from the F3, or is it fairly similar?
It's funny. It's similar in some ways and so much different in other ways. In the F3, the power is pretty stable. You can just plant power. Can't do that in the Super Formula. Like, if you're trying to just flat out out of a corner and you're in second or third gear, just gonna spin up your rear tires. But then it's also so stable at high speed. But it also slides well. So I think it's a great car. It's definitely gonna take some time to learn, but I am so excited for it.
Awesome stuff. Well, Alex, thank you for joining us this season. Thank you for giving up your time to come and have a chat with us in the commentary booth. Before we let you go, is there any shout outs you want to be giving to the YouTube chat?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I got to shout out Brian. He's put on an excellent league. This has been super fun, and when I have been able to join, it's oh man, the racing's been great. The quality of drivers are incredible. Shout out to Mackenzie and Carson, my teammate. Then they've also been keeping me honest and just driving up the competition in the league like crazy. David, he wasn't here today, but man, is he fast. Yeah, everybody in the league did an amazing job. You guys do awesome broadcasting. I always love watching back the replays. So yeah, thank you guys.
Awesome stuff. Well, thanks, Alex, and we'll see you in a few weeks' time when we head to Motegi.
Absolutely. I'll see you guys there.
See you then. Alex Rivera, second place this evening, bought the championship finale. Who's up next? Let's have a chat with Carson Keane. Let's go with Carson, our race winner of this evening. Carson, what a battle that was, and race-long fight between you and Mackenzie Roon. Alex getting involved towards the end, but you must be thrilled to end the season on a high.
Oh, I'm stoked. That was such a fun race. That was my first time at Aragon. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but really enjoyed that track with the F3, and really enjoyed battling Mackenzie and Alex as well. He was cooking.
Yeah, he was. He was a threat very late on. A bit of a late charge, but fortunately they battled amongst themselves and you were able to build a bit of a gap late on. That does bring the season to a close, Carson, but we'll be going for the Super Formula in a few weeks' time. Well, first of all, you joining us for it, and second of all, how you feeling about it?
100% joining for it, and I'm feeling really excited about it. I'm really enjoying that car, just messing around with it. Haven't done any officials yet, but looking forward to getting in there and trying to tame that thing. It's kind of wild on cold tires, but a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, of course. Alex said similar thing. So hopefully should bring some amazing racing. Well, congrats obviously on another fantastic season. Congrats on the race win here in Aragon. And well, before we let you go, any shout outs you want to be giving to the YouTube chat?
Just want to shout out you guys for broadcasting the season here. It was great to watch them back, and thanks to Brian for organizing everything and organizing the next season here. And then just thanks to everybody in general. It's a great community and a lot of fun to race with.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you for joining us this season, Carson. We'll see you in Motegi.
Thanks, guys.
Talk soon, Carson. Take care. Second place. Oh no, he wasn't second place. He was first place in this race. Took the victory, of course, and well, what could the future hold for him? Next up, we'll take a chat with our back-to-back champion, Mackenzie Roon. Welcome in. First of all, congratulations. Second of all, what a race that was, fighting amongst yourself, Carson, Alex. A brilliant way to end off the season. You must be thrilled to be able to take the championship.
Yeah, what a way to go. What a finish to the season. Congrats to Carson on the win. Alex, amazing pace. I mean, what a track. It's like this track was made for the F3s. That was so much fun.
Looked it. It did look it. Honestly, quite jealous because just the racing that you were able to get that long back straight into the hairpin just made for some really, really fun moves. But obviously, we end the season here today. You are the champion for the foreseeable future, the only Formula 3 champion. So that's obviously something to hold on. You're undefeated in the Formula 3s. You'll be able to carry it forward into the Super Formulas?
We'll see. I mean, it's a completely different car, so a lot of the skills will probably translate over, but I'm not very good in the car, so maybe just some practice. But I mean, I'll try to fight for the top few spots there.
We expect no less, and we expect you to be back fighting in a few weeks' time. Before we let you go, though, Mackenzie, any shout-outs you want to be given to the YouTube chat?
Yeah, huge shout out to Brian for organizing the league. This is a lot of fun, and it allows us all to kind of be competitive with something that we love. So huge thanks to Brian. And then JPBroadcasting. I love all your videos, guys. So you do an outstanding job. So thank you as well.
Thank you very much. It means a lot to hear. Mackenzie, once more, congratulations on the championship, and we'll see you back in a few weeks when we go to Motegi.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. To you as well. Mackenzie Roon, championship winner, of course. And yeah, well, big thank you to him for joining us. Next, and finally, we'll go to the boss man, Brian Long. And congratulations on 10th place. You made it to the end. That same can't be said for everyone. So brilliant job, nice job. You must be quite proud of the success that season 2's had.
Yes, I am. It was just the last 2 seasons really have been a lot of fun. I think for everybody, and it's not a large group, but it's a committed group, and that's what's made it special, I think. And we've only gotten bigger this season. A lot of people are kind of waiting for season 3 or season 1, however you want to look at it. So it has been a lot of fun, and I can walk away just less stressed and smiling, and yeah, it's been a good time.
It has been. It's been a pleasure to commentate on it as well. Ever since, when did season 1 start? Back in April or something like that. It's been a long time.
I think so.
Two seasons, and we're about to start the third, but the first, as you say, it's a bit awkward. But the Formula 3s are over for the foreseeable future. The Super Formula should be a very fun prospect. Of course, the calendar is looking amazing. And the drivers as well. They seem to all be raring up fire to go. Yeah, let's bring on season 3, shall we?
Yeah, I can't wait. And I wanted to give just a shout out to Joel today. I know he retired, but he's been racing this whole season when he shows up with a broken leg. So he's had to learn it with hand controls. So it was fun to race with him there for the first half of the race.
Fair enough. Awesome stuff. Yeah, fair play to Joel Dutton. Again, takes a lot of commitment to do it, and a lot of passion, which I think is the biggest driver for the sim racing for Simpletons, is just passion, enjoyment, and coming out here and having a good bunch of lads to just to fight with. Of course, it's just been an absolute pleasure to commentate on. Again, the Super Formulas should be amazing. Of course, you mentioned Joel Dutton. Is there any other shout outs you want to be giving?
I just wanted to shout out you guys for. I mean, it's been a flawless season, really, in terms of broadcasting. I don't think we've had a single missed race. Even when things have gone weird, we still got it done. And yeah, I just can't say enough. Everyone's excited to talk to you and see you guys when we get to the race day each week, and it's fun that you guys are a part of the community. So I really appreciate it, and thank you very much. And also just shout out to everybody in the league that participates, even if they can't make it every weekend. They make it possible. I mean, they pay and they show up and they race hard, and I love that. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch the banter in the league chat after the good race. Like today, 5 or 6 people in there out of 10 are just patting each other on the back, congratulating, talking about the hard racing. It's fake racing or fake race cars, but real racing. And that's kind of the fun part. So I'm glad that they're having fun, and I can't wait for season 1.
Let's do it all over again. We start fresh with a new car, a new chassis, and hopefully just as much fun, if not a little bit more, should be a ton. But thank you for joining us in the commentary booth, Brian. Thank you for putting on this championship as well, because it's always a pleasure to commentate on. And well, we'll see you back when we head off for round number 1 in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, see you guys in October. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you to Brian. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to round off our coverage of the Sim Racing for Simpletons Formula 3 Championship. Season number 2 draws itself to a close here in Aragon. Biggles, what a season it's been. Obviously, we've not got long, just under a month until we're underway once again at the Twin Ring Motegi. Between now and then, I'm sure it's going to be a very long wait before we get some cars back out on track.
I can't wait. It's going to be absolutely fun. Yeah, it's a new chapter in the sim racing for Simpletons, which will be absolutely looking forward to. As you said everything that I needed to say. So yeah, thank you very much, Zach. That's a wrap, isn't it? All good things must come to an end.
They must. At some point, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here on the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel. It's been a pleasure to have your company throughout the amazing season that we've had. If you do want to keep up to date with everything on JP Broadcasting, we've not just got the Sim Racing for Simpletons, plenty of other championships to indulge into over the course of the week. So make sure you have liked, make sure you have subscribed, and make sure you turn on that little bell to stay notified and stay up to date for when anything goes live. We should have everything pretty much every single day. So you're never without, you're never lacking in terms of fun racing action. Thank you to the Whitfield family, to Ria Raccoon, to Ridgeway Racing, to Alex for all joining in and joining us along the way. Thank you to all the drivers that have taken part in what has been an amazing championship. Thank you to Brian Long, of course, the boss man, who without him would not, this championship would not have been possible. We wouldn't be here to bring you what has been a lot of fun broadcasting, a lot of banter, a lot of highs, and just a roller coaster of a season. My name has been Zach Sweeney. I've had Dean Biggles alongside me in the commentary booth. Before we get back underway for the Super Formula Season 1, when we go to the Twin Ring Motegi on the 21st of October, take care and goodbye for now.